Hey folks, welcome back to another video. I know, no video last week. What can I say? Balancing full-time student life and YouTube is like trying to beat a boss on hard mode with no save points. But hey, I'm here now, and today we're diving into something I know you all love. Horror games that actually make you want to sleep with the lights on. Cry of Fear, The Nightmare Begins. First up on our horror hit list is Cry of Fear. Let me tell you, this game is a trip. So, a little background. This game started as a mod for Valve's Half-Life back in 2012. But it blew up so fast that it became its own standalone nightmare. And trust me, it's scary as hell. You play as Simon, a dude who wakes up in a creepy alley after getting hit by a car. Sounds bad, right? Well, it gets worse. The world around him has gone full-on nightmare mode. And the monsters? Let's just say they're the stuff that makes grown adults sleep with a nightlight. I first tried playing this game with a buddy, but we were goofing off too much to take it seriously. Still, it stuck with me, and I knew I had to give it another shot. And boy, am I glad I did. This game is all about psychological terror. If you're not into that, you might want to skip it. But if you're like me and enjoy scaring yourself silly in a dark room during a storm, then this game is for you. Devour, Slenderman's scary cousin. Next up, we've got Devour. Now, this game is less about making you question your sanity and more about pure, unadulterated terror. Think Slenderman's creepy cousin that you play with friends. It's co-op, which means you get to scream together. What's not to love? The game's all about different monsters on each map, and these designs are the kind of thing that'll make you double-check your locks at night. I used to play this on Discord with friends, and let me tell you, it never got any less terrifying. Is it the best horror game ever? Nah. But it's a blast, especially when you're playing with friends and trying not to get caught. It's got this tension that just builds, and even though you're doing the same thing in each level, it's still worth it. Plus, it's way more fun than Phasmophobia, if you ask me. But hey, that's just my take. Amnesia: The Bunker, a love-hate relationship. Okay, time for an honorable mention. Amnesia: The Bunker. I'll be honest, this game wasn't really my cup of tea, but I know there's a crowd out there that'll eat this up. The intro was solid, and the atmosphere is on point. Think dark, claustrophobic, and creepy as hell. But here's the thing. I hate backtracking, and this game, it's basically one big backtrack fest. Still, I've got to give credit where it's due. The world is super immersive, and the small details like how items interact with the monster are top-notch. If you're into games like Resident Evil, where you're constantly retracing your steps and solving puzzles, then you might love this one. Me? I'll pass, but it definitely deserves a shout-out. Forbidden Siren, the uncanny valley of horror. Finally, let's talk about Forbidden Siren, or just Siren if you're from Japan. This game is a wild ride, and there's a ton to unpack here. First off, it's not your typical survival horror game. It's fragmented, non-linear, and switches between different characters throughout the game, which kept me hooked from the start. The game takes place in a creepy Japanese village called Haneda. And let me tell you, the atmosphere is off the charts. It's got that Silent Hill vibe where you're constantly on edge, wondering what's lurking around the next corner. The story kicks off with a group of outsiders stumbling into the village just as the locals are performing some freaky ritual that awakens an ancient evil. Cue the chaos. What really sets Siren apart is the uncanny valley effect with the characters' faces. The game was an early adopter of motion capture, and while that tech is everywhere now, back in the PS2 days, it was next-level creepy. The way these villagers' faces shift from one emotion to another is just unnerving. Combine that with the fact that the enemies, the Shibito, can't be killed permanently. They just keep coming back, and you've got yourself one hell of a horror game. Now, the controls? Absolute trash. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. They're clunky, unresponsive, and downright frustrating at times. But the horror is so well crafted that it almost makes up for it. Almost. Honestly, I'd recommend watching a no commentary walkthrough rather than playing it yourself. It's that good as a movie, but not so much as a game, thanks to the controls. So, there you have it. Some horror games that'll keep you up at night, and one that's more fun to watch than play. Let me know in the comments which of these games you're brave enough to try, or if you've got any other terrifying recommendations. And hey, remember, this is just my opinion, so no need to go all Shibito in the comments. Let's keep it civil and have some fun.